Hey, what's up fam? It's Legend and I am back with another video. What if Naruto became feared by the Viltrumite Empire? If you like the video, smash that like button, and subscribe for more videos and scripts, written by both me and other people. The like goal is 7 likes. But now let's get into the intro. Meet the family. Polly laughed herself silly, clutched her sides, and fell over onto the bed. Naruto flushed to the very roots of his hair as she snickered at his plight. It's not funny. Yes, it is. Her legs flailed weakly in the air as she continued to giggle, rolling to and fro. You beat her bloody and she enjoyed it. She's a sub. Ha. Did she call you daddy, too? Polly. His wife's delighted laughter continued to reverberate through the house. Much to his chagrin, she showed no signs of stopping anytime soon. If anything, she was tickled pink. For the life of him, he couldn't see why. This woman had threatened their children to draw him away, and yet somehow, Polly wasn't irked in the least. Did she have that much faith in him? Anissa. She rolled the word on her tongue, tasted it on her lips now as she sat up, trying to sound it out. So that's her name. Not bad. Not bad at all. Tell me you didn't kill her. I did not. She waggled a brow his way. Did you at least bed her? He shook his head and a pillow bounced off it. What was that for? His wife granted him a lopsided smile. You really are too loyal for your own good. How many times do I have to tell you it's fine? I want you to be happy. A muscle jumped in his way, but he stubbornly forced it down as he scuffed a boot against the floor and glared sullenly into the bedroom carpet. I'm happy with you. And you can be happy with other people, too. She patted his cheek. So, what's she like? Tell me everything. Spare no detail, Tilda. Naruto did just that. Her. Long, loudly, and at length, with more than a few expletives besides. By the Polly was laughing even harder. She's a sub, definitely. His weary wife wiped a mirthful tear from the corner of her eye. For all her claims about strength and power and ego, she kept telling you to hit her harder. And you had her panting like a dog once you got her pinned. Heat crept up the back of his neck. What makes you so certain? Dear, she crossed one scarred leg over the other, inadvertently drawing his eyes there. I may not act like it much of the time, but I am a woman. A rusty chuckle escaped him. Lemme guess, you drink and know things. She beamed and mimed, holding a shot glass. Precisely, Tilda. He sat beside her and she scooted closer, laying her head on his shoulder, but only for a moment. Her eyes sought his as she climbed into his lap. From there, her hands cupped his face and dragged his face down to hers. An electric thrill shot through him, causing his hands to settle on her waist, to which she deepened the kiss, planted her legs on either side of him, pushing him down. He tried to protest, fearing she'd have another relapse, but her mouth silenced his, her tongue tangling his to kill the words dead before they could ever be spoken. Are you sure? Very. She shrugged off her shirt, baring her bosom to him as she kissed his chin. I have a little energy today. I think I can act. A violent cough rattled her body, racking her with spasms. Polly. I'm fine. She waved his concern down frantically as her breathing evened out. Just let me breath, oh damn it. He tugged her hand away from her mouth and saw the blood there. Sorry. You have nothing to be sorry about. He laid a hand on her shoulder. Anissa said her people could treat you. Oh, honey, I'm still alive. She stifled another cough behind a palm. Thinking of the future now will only ruin the present moment. Something gleamed behind her bright eyes and he wasn't sure he liked the look of it. Speaking of which, where is our resident invader now? Here at last, he smiled. With the kids and under heavy guard. Her face lit up at that. They wanted to meet her. I wouldn't say meet so much as beat. Oh, I'm sure they had a few choice words for her. He found Anissa exactly where he'd left her, standing in the living room with the kids dangling off her like a living jungle gym. Joshua was trying to drag her down to the ground by the throat from behind. Samantha had a hold of one arm, then Jessica and Luca her legs, while Amanda, still youngest of all, had contented herself to sit on her feet. It served as a somewhat strange sight by itself, all things considered, yet oddly enough, she wasn't trying to hurt any of them. Not that she could mind you, given she was being watched by no less than 3 shadow clones, each more than capable of intervening if she tried to do anything foolish. And yet there she stood, her face carved from stone, seemingly resigned to her fate. Fine by him, humiliation was the least of her punishment. A mighty Viltrumite, reduced to a child's plaything, and all because he told her to stand still. How quaint. He flicked out his phone and snapped several pictures, to her eternal chagrin. Anissa's head whipped his way with such force that she nearly broke her neck. Delete those images at once. That depends. He held the phone over her head. Are you strong enough to take this from me? Her face turned a pretty shade of pink. No, that's what I thought. She squirmed a little, and belatedly, he realized what she wanted. Do it. He sighed. Kurama, no, come on, what's the harm? Do it. No means no, fuzzball. Do it. Alright, twist my arm, why don't ya? He patted Anissa's head, idly mussing up her dark hair. Good girl. She tucked her chin into her chest and refused to look at him, but he didn't miss the pleased smile she wore, nor the sudden flushing of her face. Red. Her face was so red, like roses right now. Bloody Viltrumites. He would never understand the lot of them. They claimed to represent absolute strength, and yet Anissa had rolled right over him once he beat her into the ground, and now she was blushing like some stricken schoolgirl. Where had the wicked warrior gone, the cruel conqueror, the monster who'd threatened his children just to get his attention? She was practically a puppy now compared to the bloodthirsty beast he had beaten down only a few hours ago. Perhaps that was an understatement. Kurama chortled softly in his head, almost like a bitch in, come on, man. There are children present. Dog, why isn't she dead? Eve's whine drew him back to the present, and belatedly he realized his children were clamoring for his attention. Her and Joshua perhaps loudest of all. The others hadn't been present when she ambushed him, but now they were glaring daggers at the intruder in their home. Well, he supposed they thought she was an intruder. Now, he held up his hands before his children could start World War III. Death is too good for her. Besides, he let his gaze settle on said Viltrumite with intent, daring her to object. Your mother wants a word with her, which means Anissa and I have come to an arrangement. That said, she's sorry for what she did now, isn't she? Anissa held her tongue. Right up until he began cracking his knuckles. Yes, she muttered under her breath, bowing her head low, cheeks flushing. My apologies. It won't happen again. Samantha smiled. Good. Crack. An open palm shrouded in pink light struck Anissa's face at Mach 1, snapping the older woman's head back with an audible crack to knock her airborne, sending her rocketing upward. No sooner had she done so than Eve conjured a wall of pure energy and pinned her against the ceiling, crushing her there. He didn't miss the Viltrumite's startled expression. Not in the least, and so he stood by as his eldest daughter floated up her way, grabbed her by the hair, and smashed her forehead against hers. Because if you ever, and I mean ever, try to hurt any of us, I'll kill you. Joshua whistled down below as the other children applauded her brutality. Damn, sis. Anissa stared at her for a long moment, then looked back to him with a smirk. You've raised your offspring well. They'll grow up to be strong. Naruto pinched the bridge of his nose to stifle a small smirk. I don't want to hear that from you. Eve reluctantly released her, allowing her to alight upon the floor once more. Little Jessica raised a hand. How do we know you're stronger than her? Oh, that's easy. He grabbed the recovering Anissa by one wrist, wrenched her arm behind her back and planted a boot there. Heel grinding against her spine, he drove her down to her knees. Much to his annoyance, she gasped happily at the pain, face flushed. H harder. Eve and Joshua absolutely gagged. Ew. Gross, gross, gross. Naruto heaved a sigh. Seem this is my life now. Holly leaned back into her pillows, wearing a smug smile. Well, well, aren't you a beauty? You must be Anissa. It's a pleasure to meet you face to face. The warrior lifted her chin to meet her stare. This is not the first time we have met. His wife tittered dangerously. But it is the first time we've spoken, silly girl. A spark passed between the two women. Yeah, not getting between that. No, Naruto dragged a hand across his face. No doubt she was talking about the time they'd seen her spying on them from afar. Sneaky little voyeur. In truth, he half expected Anissa to bite back at that little bout of verbal assassination. Imagine his surprise when she didn't. Instead, she tilted her head just so. Correct, and you. You are stronger than appear. Stronger than you know. His wife steeped her frail hands and laid her chin atop them. So I've been told. I understand you have designs on my husband. Anissa nodded. Your mate, yes. Husband. Holly corrected her with a smile. It was. Well, he couldn't call it a nice smile per se, but it wasn't nasty either, more of a smirk bordering on a sneer. I don't know how Viltrumites do things where you're from, but here we hold on to the ones we love. She laughed suddenly, a soft yet brittle sound. Times like these reminded him why he loved her Brooklyn accent. It never really emerged unless she was riled up like this. That earned a baffled blink from the warrior woman. Love. Oh, dear. Holly's smile thinned. You don't know what love is, do you? I am familiar with the concept, but I fail to see how that factors into this equation. He could sense the lie, plain as day. She was masking, trying to hide her true intentions from Polly. It wasn't working, of course. She'd always been clever. Seems I have my work cut out for me. His wife's bright gaze flicked back to him, and too late, he glimpsed a spark of impish mischief therein. He's quite the catch, isn't he? Oi, Anissa nodded. He is. He's even better once you get his trousers off, and Kurama cackled as he'd speared up the back of his neck and lanced into his cheeks. Ladies. I am standing right here. Yes you are, dear. Holly patted his head, which is precisely why we're having this conversation. Don't I get a say in this? Holly giggled. No, I really think I, Noop tilde. Listen, her laughter overrode him. N tilde O tilde P tilde E. Blast. He forgot just how damnably stubborn she could be when she wanted something. Even with her body broken, her mind remained sharp as a tack. No, sharper. As her physical form faded, she'd only become more brilliant in his eyes. And all the more determined to live with what little time she had left. It was so easy to forget sometimes. You should listen to her. Anissa butted in. Your mate wife is clearly a warrior of the mind. She wants what's best for you. Holly hummed dangerously at her. Should I take that remark as an insult or a compliment? The latter, came the reply. It is highest that I can think to give you at the moment. She licked her lips luridly and beckoned her way. You'll do. Come here. Anissa needed no more encouragement. She stalked forward to the bed. Naruto dug his heels in and didn't budge, even when she began to disrobe. Holly noticed naturally, of course she did. She was his wife. She'd always been able to read him like book. She didn't make any demands of him, nor did she try to command him. She simply held out a frail hand in silent invitation. It was for him to take, or not at all. You really want that threesome, don't you? She granted him a lopsided grin. It's on my bucket list, Sue. Screw it. If she was pushing this hard for it, he might as well indulge her. It was the least that could do. Rolling his shoulder, he stalked forward, shedding his shirt as he went. The smile on Polly's face lit a spark in his deepest heart of hearts. He made it halfway to the bed before Anissa grabbed his arm and yanked him down to join them. Wits aside, she flicked a glance up and down Polly's body as they helped her undress. Your body is frail. How do you intend to engage in such activities? His wife laid back, gasping as the latter kissed her collarbone, then her neck, followed by her chin. Slowly, gently, carefully. Naruto drew her into his lap, relishing in the delighted noise she made as her lips found his. A portal burst open behind them, swirling with green light. Angstrom Levy came charring through from within, paused at the sight of them, then balked. Oh. His eyes widened, then his face reddened. I'm not interrupting, am I? Polly hummed. Not at all, not yet, Anissa growled under her breath, one arm over her bosom. Speak quickly before rip out of your tongue. None of that. Naruto drove the flat of his hand into the back of her head, drawing a whine from her. No violence. But why? Because he's a friend, he chided her, gaze sweeping back to the dimension hopper. And he better have a good reason for interrupting. Angstrom stepped back with a sweeping bow and indicated the portal from whence her came. I have something wonderful to show you, but it seems you're a bit occupied at the moment. He scratched the back of his head with a rueful laugh. I suppose it can wait. Ta-ta Tilda, quick as can be, he hopped back through and vanished, leaving them to their debauchery. Silence reigned, but only for a moment. Its reign was brief and ended quickly. Now, then, Naruto shared a glance with Anissa. Where were we? Polly saw it and grinned impishly up at them. Be gentle, they jumped her. Wanna go out? Anissa lay in bed and stared at the ceiling. It held no answers for her. Nor did the fan above. On and on it turned, round and round it went, a cycle without end. Were she the philosophical sort, she might have made a remark about the circle of life, or perhaps the endless loop of violence her people had become mired in as of late. She was more than powerful to reach up and crush said spinning device if she wished, but breaking it wouldn't change anything, wouldn't stop the cycle. It would just be more of the same, strength over substance, and with it, the slow death of the Viltrumite Empire, not in glorious battle, but dying a death of 1,000 cuts. And there wasn't a damn thing she could do about it. The irony almost made her laugh. Deep thought had never been her strong suit. She often did as she pleased, when she pleased, with whom pleased her. Such had been her way for hundreds of years now. She lived by strength, followed strength, and one day, she would die to someone stronger than her. It wasn't the best life, but it was her life and she'd been. Not content, not satisfied, not really, but willing to put up with it. Until her world turned upside down. Suddenly, she wasn't the strong one anymore. Or rather, she still was, but she'd found someone stronger than her. Been beaten, battered, broken, bent over and bred. Truth be told, she rather enjoyed that last part in particular, having experienced it most thoroughly these last few days. Over and over. Turning her hand about, she smirked and regarded the bite indentation upon her knuckles fondly, a mark hard enough to bruise. It would vanish in time, as all her injuries inevitably did, but she would remember this mark. This, and every other left upon her body. Each one had been etched into her memory, never to be forgotten. Rough sex was the best sex, she found. Pure, no holds barred, coital bliss in its finest form, two warriors marking one another over and over. A seething carnal haze in which she could dominate and be dominated in return. Mostly the latter, if she was being wholly honest with herself. She wouldn't be walking straight for the rest of the day, Already she found herself looking forward to the next round. There it was. Her problem. Did they ruin her? Or had she simply been ruined to begin with? That was the question, wasn't it? She was a proud warrior of the Viltrumite Empire. She'd murdered so many she'd long since lost track. Planets quaked when they heard her name. Civilizations surrendered when they saw her in the skies of their world. Yet here she was, wearing not a stitch of clothing, having a lazy day in bed, uncaring as the afternoon sunlight poured in through the window. It had taken less than a month to break her down. She'd let herself be domesticated. Once upon a time, the concept might have galled her. Going native, they called it. Soft. Not long ago, she would have happily raised this planet in the name of glory. Now she found herself thinking of children. The oldest girl of Uzumaki, Eve, absolutely loathed her. The second oldest, Josh, tolerated her. The remaining spawn of Uzumaki were a mixed bag. All in all, the children were tolerable. She didn't want one of her own. No. Nay. Never. She'd break the jaw of anyone who said otherwise. Frag would chide her for such weakness. Conquest would beat her to death. Thula would scoff. Nolan. Dot. What was Nolan playing at? He was the one who'd asked for her help in the first place. Did he know this would happen? Had he betrayed the cause? Had she? Since her defeat, she'd scarcely left the house, much less this room. Was she addicted, brainwashed, intoxicated? Yes to numbers 1 and 3, not so 2. She didn't have an answer, and so her brow furrowed as she kept staring at the ceiling, lost in her own thoughts all alone. Just what the hell am I doing? A soft sigh beside her answered that question. Enjoying yourself. The Viltrumine woman rolled over, naked as the day she'd been born, without an iota of shame. Besides, she didn't have the energy to rise at the moment. Polly Uzumaki stared back at her, pale hair covering her right eye, one arm sprawled out over a pillow, wearing nothing but a smirk and a thin sheet. Weak. Human. Frail. These were the thoughts she had when she saw her. And yet she was the husband of her mate. Anissa still didn't understand the concept of marriage, but she knew it must have taken a great strength indeed to seduce Naruto Uzumaki. Not the physical sort, either. Something on your mind, the dying woman smiled at her benevolently. You've been glaring holes into the ceiling for an hour, now. She scoffed and turned away. Uzumaki left again. His wife giggled. Naruto does that, he's a busy fellow. You should try it, sometime. Anissa clicked her tongue, refusing to look her way. Try what? Being a parent. U.R.K. Her imagination took the words and ran away with them, imagining a babe in her arms, a squalling infant with her eyes and hair color. Not now, of course. Polly sat up and began binding her hair into a loose ponytail, the action of which granted her a glimpse of the scars on her back. But maybe someday. It's a wonderful feeling. You'd enjoy it, I think. Anissa scowled her way. You shouldn't be up. Dear girl, I'm hopped up on enough painkillers to floor an elephant. I'll be fine. If any harm befalls you in his absence. None of that. Polly swept a hand back without looking and slapped her hindquarters, a gesture so weak she barely felt it. I'm dying. I'm not naive. When my time comes, my time comes. I've made peace with it. She bit her lip. Death is for the weak. Is that what you believe? A bright eye peeked over her shoulder, gleaming impishly. By rights, you could kill me here and now. I wouldn't be able to stop you. And unleash the fox's wrath. I think not. HMHMMHMMM. Polly hummed smugly. You know, it's not too late, Anissa. You can be happy. You can redeem yourself. You can have everything you've ever wanted. She huffed, crossing both arms over her uniform. And you believe that you know what I want? Naturally. Holly folded both legs beneath her, demure and seemingly healthy as can be. Anissa wasn't fooled. She could see the bone beneath the scarred skin, the veins pulsing within. They were more visible today than they had been yesterday. Her condition was worsening. I believe you want 3 things. Holding out a pallid hand, she began to count down from 3 fingers. Strength. She had her there. Then, we have security. Also not incorrect. She held value in a given hierarchy. Last but not last, there's affection. True, she did rather enjoy being held, to say nothing of cuddles gob. Anissa choked. Nonsense. No. Holly tilted her head. You melt whenever Naruto and I touch you. Didn't you let both of us spoon you last night? Anissa made angry Anissa noises. Don't make me break your neck. He doesn't realize this, naturally. Uzumaki's wife hid a giggle-turned cough behind one hand. He's a bit dense at times. Stubborn. A wry smile peeked out behind her palm. But he's stronger than you. And getting stronger every day. Nonsense. Surely he couldn't exceed Thrag. Her Viltrumite instincts held against it, and yet. A pale finger tapped the bridge of her nose, snapping her back to reality. Love is a wonderful thing, Anissa. Holly leaned back, unafraid of her. Marriage, even more so. Someone to have and to hold, till death do you part. It's a shame your culture doesn't recognize it. She batted her hand down, annoyed. And yet you seek other paramours for him. Because I care. Undaunted, Holly reached out yet again, taking a hold of her face in a rare act of intimacy, one Anissa reluctantly allowed, so entranced was she by her voice. I'll die someday. The wife rolled her eyes when she said it, as though it were a matter of fact, inevitable really. Maybe not this year or the next, but with my broken body, after what the GDA did to me, I won't live to see 100. Her lips pinched a little at the mere mention of her mortality. And even if I did, Naruto would still outlast me. What will he have in 500 years? Anissa blinked, realizing thing woman wanted an answer. Your children. Holly tutted and pinched her cheeks. Eve, maybe, assuming she ever masters her powers, but I doubt her siblings will live that long. So what will he have? She was leading her somewhere with this, or maybe she was misreading her. Still, she had to ask. Me. Pole's head bobbed in a nod. You. The realization floored her, worse than any punch. Anissa went still, momentarily unable to process it. You're entrusting him to me. Consider it a trial run. You're the first one to get a reaction out of him in years besides War Woman, and she's a whole other kettle of fish. Who? What is this kettle of fish of which you speak? Don't worry. She took one hand from her face to wave it about. I'm working on her. Regardless, to me, my husband's happiness matters more than my own. Here at last, a rare expression flashed across the mortal's face. He's been through so much, suffered in silence for so long. I want to take that sadness and sorrow and smother it, drown it beneath an ocean of joy, and if I have to get him a damn harem to do so, then so be it. You want him, too, don't you, Sue? Drawing her in, she kissed her forehead. Take a leap of faith and help me help him. What'd you say? Anissa blinked, puzzled by the saying. Why leap when you can fly? Holly burst out laughing. No, it's a saying, you silly goose. I am not some feisty fowl. Holly's laughter redoubled, until a coughing spasm overtook her. Gasping a little, she wiped a thin line of blood from the corner of her lips. Don't make me laugh so much. What I'm trying to say is that this planet could be good for you. Hadn't it been already? She certainly told a tantalizing tale, and she and Naruto had more than tempted her with their bodies. No, focus. How so? Another kiss followed, this one lingering on her lips. Because your people know nothing of love. There it was again, that damnable word she didn't understand. She huffed and drew her close, pressing her sickly visage against her bosom. Lust will suffice. Polly grinned between her breasts, showering them with kisses. Is it? Anissa hissed, and not from dismay. Stop that. Why, another kiss? Am I distracting you? No, she growled, not at all. Quote, yes she was. This weak waif of a woman sitting in her lap, she had no powers, no strength, her remaining lifespan might well be measured in months rather than years. And yet she had a different sort of strength. It would be easy to end her, break her body, but her mind would never break. Not even before monsters like Conquest or Thrag. Wait, when had she begun to think of her own kind as monsters? It's this place, she realized, panicking. This planet, they're getting to me. Was that Nolan's plan, or had he fallen prey to this Earth weakness as well? She should say something, she should warn them, she should. Polly looped both arms around her neck, using her as leverage to hoist herself upright before locking both legs around her waist. I see the way you look at him. She kissed her neck, sending a shiver shooting through her. He could give you a child. Lips brushed the outer lobe of her ear. A son, would you like that? Anissa shot to her feet, red-faced and embarrassed. Enough. Unfortunately she dragged Polly with her, still firmly secured against her lap, hanging onto her for dear life. Naruto's wife smiled dauntlessly, wholly unafraid of being dropped. That feels nice. Not so Anissa. In a panic and terrified of what would happen should she harm her, the Viltrumite warrior sat back down, but the moment she did, Polly writhed upright to pin her against the pillows. One hand caged her wrists, while the other dipped lower, tracing past her stomach. Lower still. Lower. You'll be there to keep him occupied, Polly crooned seductively, nuzzling her nose with her own. And when I'm gone, you'll be the one he looks to for strength. Doesn't that sound lovely? He doesn't want to be occupied, and he doesn't want me off. Anissa gasped, hips bucking as she mewled at her touch. He wants you. You're the only one who matters. Polly kissed her, silencing her protests, and I want him to be happy, hun. It's the same thing, really. Now hold still and let me make you happy. Anissa tried to protest, really she did, but it was no use. Blasted woman was very good at what she did. Resistance was futile. In a matter of moments, she was crying her name. Polly. Almost on cue, a portal opened behind them, swirling with green light. Angstrom Levy poked his head through. Is now a good time? Polly leaned back, pouting in annoyance. No, I need to make this girl cry my name at least 3 more times before I'm satisfied. Yes, Anissa yelped out, peering past her captor in a panic. Save me. He looked between them, noting their nakedness. From what? Polly tumbled off her with a sigh. Relax, Levy, Naruto's not here. Did you need something? He's isn't, the Dimension Traveler chuckled. I suppose that's perfect timing, then. We can surprise him. Anissa blinked. Surprise him. Naruto's wife clapped her hands, delighted. Is it finally finished, then? Angstrom sketched a deep bow and gestured to the portal. Come and see. I hate her. Mark ducked a punch. Eve. I hate her. Blocked a kick that came barreling in at his face. Will you just? I hate her. All right, I get it. He hastily caught the right cross she threw at him, clumsily blocked with his forearm, then struck out at her ankle with his heel to trip her up and send her sprawling. Stop trying to murder me. Train with me, she said. Come on, it'll be fun, she said. You'll learn how to fight, she said. Lies. To her credit, Samantha righted herself slowly on the grass and didn't attack him again. Maybe it was the grimace on his face that did it, or the bruise on his cheek. Maybe it was the wary look in his eyes. Maybe she finally realized just how close she'd come to hurting him. Regardless, She tucked her head into her chin and glared at the ground as she mumbled something under her breath. Re. The younger Grayson planted a hand to his ear, cocking his head just so. What was that? She looked up at him with a sniffle, eyes wide and watery. Masori. U.R.K. His heart. Girl had no business being that cute. He flailed for a new topic. Is she really that bad? Anissa is the literal worst. Eve tore up a chunk of his yard with her powers and flung it into the air. She's been squatting in our house forever. Why do Dad and Mom even keep her around? Mark winced at the gaping hole she'd left behind. Don't forget to put that back, or Mom'll freak. Eve huffed, but did as he bid. He patted her head, causing her to lean into him. All the way into him, you know. He was growing up, and so was she. His poor heart. Distraction. Now, you said your folks like her. Then shouldn't you? She squirmed against him. Why should I? She threatened to kill me and my siblings. Yikes. Josh hadn't been kidding. She really was pissed off. And didn't she get beat up for that? Eve went back to glaring at the ground again. Well, yeah. And she apologized after. Sure. Has she done it again? A sullen growl was his reward. No. He shrugged. Then it's all good, yeah. Eve glared up at him. You're supposed to be on my side. Woo-oh, angry friend. I am. He flung up his hands. Definitely. 100%. No 1,000%. She squinted at him, still doubtful. Josh didn't put you up to this. Nope. You hesitated. Dunno what you mean. Warily, he slung an arm around her shoulders and steered the conversation to safer waters. Look, your powers are badass. Hers aren't. If she'd is trying anything you can, I dunno, toss her into the sun or something. Much to his horror, Eve actually seemed to genuinely consider it. You think that'd kill her? Eve, no, I was joking. He pinched her cheek, drawing a whine from her. No tossing people into the sun. Supervillains do that. You're not a villain. Annoyed, she batted his hand away. Didn't your dad drop somebody from orbit the other day? Yeah, but the guy lived. How? I dunno. Besides, I'm sure he had his reasons. Her brow furrowed, for letting someone almost burn up in the atmosphere. Now it was his turn to bridle, just a little. His temper stirred and he stubbornly quashed it down. Eve didn't understand. She thought her pops was the best hero, and maybe he had been, once upon a time, but his dad was the greatest hero ever. Nobody could say anything bad about Omni-Man. Mark wouldn't believe it. He absolutely refused. Look, he managed, gritting his teeth to force a smile. I don't have my powers yet, so I can't pretend to understand what it's like. If I want to fly, you have to help me. If a bad guy starts smashing up the street, all I can do is run away. If the world needs saving, I have to watch and hope for a miracle. Eve squirmed all over again. Mark. He took his arm from her shoulders. I guess what I'm trying to say is, be grateful for what you have. You're like, probably the most amazing person in the world. I'm just .me. You're not just you. She grasped his hand before it could fall. You're the best boy I know. That's kinda of you to say, but... She took a deep breath, steeled herself, and then, you wanna go out? He blinked, floored by the sudden question. Out where? No, she waved her hands, flailing a little. I mean out, like out. I don't follow. Eve kissed his cheek, out. Oh. Realization broke like the dawn, and a glorious dawn it was. To be fair, Mark thought most girls were icky. But not Eve. No, never Eve. Aren't we a little young for dating? Mom always says the earlier bird gets the worm. Or the fish. She tapped a finger to the chin. I'm pretty sure it was the fish. Besides, that Amber girl across the street kept staring at you. Huffing a little, she drew his arm closer, all but hugging his limb. She can't have you. You're mine. Mark snorted, shocked and awed and bemused all at once. Samantha Eve Uzumaki, was that a joke? His best friend and maybe girlfriend grinned. Maybe. Come on, let's get some ice cream. My treat. She took flight, taking him into the air with her. She held his hand the entire way. Best day ever. This was the worst day ever. Naruto took a seat before Cecil, and planted his arms on the table, face carved from stone. Cecil stared back at him, wearing a grimace all his own. The very world seemed to hold its breath, waiting. Neither budged an inch, but then, finally, one of them spoke. Let's talk.